Hello friends, welcome to all of you for today's session. Today we are going to learn about antihistamines. So I Professor Manoj Shinde, Kekewa College of Pharmacy, welcomes to all of you for this session. The learning objectives of this session to know the introduction of antihistamines, to study biosynthesis of histamine, metabolism of histamine, receptors of histamine, structural activity, relationship of antihistamines, to know the mechanism of action and uses of antihistamines. So first of all, what is histamine? Histamine is also known as an atopoid, that means a self remedy. It is a chemical substance that is produced by the body if you are injured or have a bad reactions to something that you touch, eat, or breathe. Chemically, it is an organic triamine, that is a beta imidazolyl ethylamine derivative present in mammalian tissues. It is generally produced in response to the damaged tissues. It was first discovered by Dr. Sir Henry Dale. Its synthesis occurs in mast cell, parietal cell, gastric mucosa, CNS, periphery. It functions as an atopoid and one of the mediators involved in the allergic responses. It has an important role in the regulation of gastric acid secretions. Now let's see the biosynthesis of histamine. It is synthesized in cytoplasmic granules of storage cell, mast cell, and basophils. It is formed from naturally occurring amino acid, that is S-histidine, via the catalysis of pyridoxal phosphate dependent enzyme, that is histidine decarboxylase. There are some inhibitors of histidine decarboxylase, that is alpha fluoromethylhistidine and certain flavonoids. Now next, let us study about the metabolism of histamine. The metabolism of histamine takes place by the enzymatic inactivations. There are two enzymes involved in the metabolism of histamines are histamine N-methyltransferase and diamine oxidase. Histamine is metabolized as two metabolites N-methyl acetic acid and imidazole acid ribosides through the intermediates N-methyl histamine and imidazole acetic acids. This is about how the metabolism pathway occurs. Now, let us know about the importance of the histamines. Histamine is not used therapeutically, but it is useful in the past for the testing the acid secreting capacity of stomach, to test bronchial hyperactivity in asthmatics. It is also useful for the diagnosis of pheochromocytoma, useful as a proactive test of the bronchial hyperactivity, and useful for the to distinguishing between the real and pseudo anesthesia. Now let's see the different receptors of the histamine. There are four different histamine receptors, that is histamine receptors are G protein coupled receptors, four receptors H1, H2, H3 and H4 having different locations. H1 receptor is located in the brain, GIT, cardiovascular system and lymphocytes, while H2 receptor is found in the myocardial cells, parietal cells. H3 receptor found in the CNS, mesenteric plexus and gastric mucosa, while H4 receptor found in the spleen, thymus, T cells and eosinophils. Histamine antagonist, drugs that block the action of histamine at H1, H2, H3, H4 receptors. The development of antihistamines begins by the discovery of piperacillin. There are three major classes, we can say, that is drugs that inhibit the release of histamine, while the drugs that inhibit the action of release histamine, these are H1 antagonists, that is first, second, third generation classical antihistamines, H2 antagonist and H3 antagonist, while there are some drugs having dual actions. The general structural requirement for the antihistamines. If we look at here, a connecting moiety, alkyl chain and a substituted amino group, and this connecting moiety will connect to the aromatic as well as non-aromatic ring systems. The aromatic ring may be a phenyl substituted phenyl heteroaryl groups like, while another aromatic group uh, may be a two-paradyl second aryl or aryl methyl group. While the connecting atom may be a oxygen, carbon, or nitrogen, and the carbon chain, usually ethyl carbon chain, is present. While the basic amino terminal amino functional group is maybe monosubstituted or disubstituted. Now, drugs that block the histamine release, these are chylin and cromolyn sodium. The chylin and cromolyn sodium drugs that act by the stabilizing the mast cells inhibit the release of the histamine. Chylin is a natural product that lead to the development of the bis compounds, while the cromolyn, a nasal solution used for the prevention and treatment of the allergic rhinitis. The oral concentrate used to treat the histamine symptoms of mastocytosis. Drugs that block the release histamines. These are H1 antagonists. These are first generation drugs. These are also known as the classical antihistamines. These are classified as follows: amino alkyl ethers, ethylene diamine derivatives, propylamine derivatives, phenothiazine derivatives, piperazine derivatives. These are clinically used in the treatment of the histamine mediated allergic conditions like allergic rhinitis, allergic conjunctivitis, pruritus, etc. Now let's see the first class, that is amino alkyl ethers. The general structure shows that it is an ethanol amine analog. The aryl group, you have a phenyl group or a heteroaryl group. The diphenoramine contain both the aryl group or two phenyl groups here, while doxylamine, one aryl group may be a phenyl while the another will a two pyridyl group. And next is the clemastine. About the structural activity relationship, the connecting moiety here is oxygen. Most of the compounds from this series are N dimethyl and ethanolamine derivatives. Clemastine differs from the basic structural pattern. Most of amino alkyl ethers are optically active. These drugs have some side effect, that is a drowsiness, and these amino alkyl ethers have to penetrate the blood-brain barrier and occupy the central H1 receptors, which result is drowsiness. The another class is that is ethylene diamine derivatives. Here, the connecting moiety is the nitrogen. The examples from this class is tryptylamine and methylpyrrolene, while amines. Here, this class is characterized by the presence of nitrogen as connecting atom. The phenbenzamine was the first clinically useful member, where the replacement of the phenyl moiety of phenylbenzamine with the two pyridyl system is this tryptylamine. Further, the replacement of the benzyl group of tryptylamine with the two phenyl methyl group provided this methylpyrrolene, while the replacement of the tryptylamine with the two pyridyl group, the pyrimidine moiety, that is tonzilamine. The anticholinergic and antiemetic actions of these compounds are low. Now, next class is the propylamine derivatives. These are the again further classified as the saturated analogues and unsaturated analogues. Here, the connecting moiety is a carbon, that is CH. The two drugs from this saturated analog, that is phenaramine and chlorphenaramine. When the phenyl substitute at the para position is a chloro or bromo, this will give the chlorphenaramine as well as bromophenaramine. These halogenated phenaramines are more potent and have longer duration of action. These agents in the class produces less sedation other than classical antihistamines. The second class from these is that is unsaturated analogs, where a double bond, that is unsaturation, is present between the carbon number 2 and 3. The two drugs from this class are pyrobetamine and trifluridine. The another classical antihistamine, that is the phenothiazine derivatives, which is a tricyclic ring systems, where thiazine is dibenzo substituted. Classical example from this class is the promethazine, triamperazine. The promethazine derivative that contain 2,3 carbon branch alkyl chain between these ring nitrogen and side chain nitrogens. It differs from the phenothiazine from the antipsychotic series. The promethazine is the parent member of the series, moderately potent, and the prolonged action pronounced sedative side effects. The combination of the lengthening of the side chain and substitution of these lipophilic groups in the second position of aromatic ring that will result in the decreased antihistaminic activity and increased psychotherapeutic properties. Now, another two examples from this, that is the dibenzocycloheptines and dibenzocycloheptadines, that is cyproheptadine and azatidine. These are both phenothiazine analogs in which the sulfur atom is replaced by an allosteric vinyl group or saturated ethyl bridge. The last class, that is the piperazine derivatives. The general structure here, it contains a piperazine with the connecting moiety. Now here the R may be hydrogen or a fluorine. These are the ethylene diamine derivatives, the connecting moiety of CHN group. These are moderately potent with the low incidence of the drowsiness, slow onset of action, exhibit peripheral and central antimuscarinic activity. Primary structural difference in the nature of para-aromatic ring substituents. Now let's see the mechanism of action of H1 antagonist. These act competitively inhibiting the effect of histamine at H1 receptor. H1 receptor blockade results in a decreased vascular permeability, reduction of the pruritus, relaxation of smooth muscle in the respiratory as well as GI tract. Now the first generation H1 antagonists, these are classical antihistamines. These are clinically useful in the treatment of histamine mediated allergic conditions. These are mainly used in allergic rhinitis, allergic conjunctivitis, allergic dermatological conditions. There are with the few side effects like sedation, drowsiness, diminished alertness. This is due to their relative lack of selectivity for the peripheral H1 receptors. The second generation H1 antagonists, which are called also known as non-sedatives, the terfenadine, fexofenadine, these are the classical examples, cetirizine. These have relatively low affinity for the central H1 receptors and largely free from sedation. The second generation drugs have little affinity for the muscarinic adrenergic receptors. Terfenadine is a long-acting H1 antagonist. Fexofenadine is the primarily oxidative metabolite of the terfenadine and does not cross the blood-brain barriers. There are activestine and loratadine, which are also known as the third generation H1 antihistamine. These are active metabolites of the derivatives of the second generation drugs, and these are intended to have increased efficacy with the fewer adverse drug reactions. So in the next lecture or next session, we will see the H2 receptors. Thank you very much.